From the only restaurant that made Gordon Ramsay order over 100 dishes at once,
cowboy with a very small hat,
to the one whose owner received death threats after trademarking the endearment hun.
I have people scream at me from across the street. Well, people wishing me dead.
These are shocking after stories of every Season 5 Kitchen Nightmares restaurant, starting with Blackberries, one of the very few restaurants on the show that actually impressed Gordon Ramsay. The praise was all thanks to the owner's mother, Mary, who made one of the best desserts in the show.
You that you are not about to succumb to those chitlins. Hallelujah. Amen. In Jesus' name. You'll be fine.
But as sweet as she was, her daughter, owner Shelly, was the complete opposite. She found it incredibly funny that Gordon threw up thanks to her disgusting-looking chitlins.
Cheese is dry and overcooked. Oh. He asked me had we warmed it in the microwave. I told him no, it just came out of the oven. They may have put it in the microwave for a minute.
If you eat it all together, it should...
Well, I did eat it all together, it still stayed bland. My God.
What is he saying about our stuff?
Along with her team, she accused Gordon and the show of planting a dead mouse outside the door.
Well, I'm scared to bring him here. Shelly doesn't listen.
Portia,
how are you?
Pleasure.
This is Tyrone.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, good to see you, buddy. So, macaroni cheese was an embarrassment. The fried collard greens, there's no seasoning, everything's just fried, so it just tasted of oil.
What's wrong with my food?
Who is the head chef here?
I am.
Show me tonight.
Okay.
Or you think you are the head chef.
All right.
Prepare for dinner, sir. Chef Ramsay returns and is greeted by an unexpected guest.
Oh, what is that? Bloody hell. My God. Wow.
And worse, she literally walked out of the kitchen during relaunch night.
I'm coming. Okay. All right. Love you, Dad. You okay?
Let's go, please.
Lucky for her, though, her staff managed to pull through the relaunch service. And it seems like the changes were a huge hit at first, proven by a long line of 4 to 5 star reviews immediately after the show was filmed. One review wrote, "Worth the wait, let me tell you. The best part is that the owner came to the table and made sure that we were happy." This review makes it sound like Shelly had actually improved after filming, but unfortunately, she did not. According to one review left less than 2 years after the episode was filmed, a waitress confirmed that Shelly basically stayed the same person she was before the show, that she feels like she's always right and everybody else is always wrong, with one customer even describing the restaurant as a horror show, then stating, "All the yelling and screaming put a knot in our stomach, and from there the food itself made things worse. We left with headaches and a seasick, nauseous feeling. Never again." These written reviews, along with the store's 2.7 star average on Yelp, hint that Shelly's attitude reverted back to how it was before the episode, and the ruined customer experience for many could have very well been the primary reason why, in March 2013, Blackberries announced that it would close its doors through their Facebook page. Now, in this post, they mentioned possibly relocating to an undisclosed location, but this ultimately never materialized, and Shelly instead went back to her original catering gig, the reason she had the courage to start a restaurant in the first place. While Blackberries is now remembered by the community for having the best red velvet cake featured in Kitchen Nightmares history, Leone's marked its legacy on the show as the only restaurant to ever have made Gordon Ramsay order over 100 dishes.
Holy crap, look at all this food.
When it was still run by Mama Rose, Leone's used to thrive in Montclair, New Jersey.
People will wait in line to come in. I was here 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 at night. I did everything.
But after a kidney stone surgery caused her to fall into a coma, her son Michael had to take over. However, the business became so stale that Michael decided to put a computer near the main entrance so he could watch games whenever there weren't any customers.
Yes.
Okay, what's that thing there?
That's my old television that I watch all the games on.
Wow, is business that flat that you're watching games and trying to deal with customers at the same time?
Yes, it is, Chef.
Really?
Yes.
That bad?
The restaurant was also running so inefficiently that when Gordon Ramsay blindly ordered one of every menu item, they dished out over 100 dishes because of their massive 15-page menu.
So, do me a favor, just make me one of everything on that menu.
Our menu is 15 pages.
Let's go.
And I just had to laugh because I knew it was going to look like a freaking Chinese buffet.
Me too.
There you go.
I appreciate it. More plates, more plates, more plates.
Okay. Right. Oh my God. Holy crap. Look at all this food. How many items on the menu?
Over 100.
100?
However, it didn't take long for Gordon to regret that bold move, as most, if not all, of the food tasted disgusting.
The fuck is that? What the fuck is it? But it should come with a fucking warning. That'll blow your lungs out. I mean, and whereabouts in Italy is that from? Duh. It's like a fucking flip-flop. Look at the garlic in there. Too much garlic. Smell of garlic. Pissing with garlic.
And worse, they were all prepared in a cross-contamination paradise.
Everybody, I'm sorry to interrupt you, everybody.
Gordon Ramsay inevitably had no choice but to say,
Shut the place down. You go in the dining room now and just apologize. Get fucking cleaning.
But as always, Kitchen Nightmares was able to work its magic, and after some hardcore training and expert renovation, relaunch night was successful, and even brought tears to Mama Rose's eyes. When Leone's was featured in a revisited episode a year later, the food quality was now up to Gordon's standards.
What a difference.
But unfortunately, old habits die hard, and the staff later revealed that Michael had slowly crept back into his lazy habits.
Everything you told me about working so much harder is not what they think. My question to you is, why bullshit me through there? What time do you come in every day?
4:30, 5 o'clock.
Do you say sometimes it's 6:30?
On certain days, Chef, not every day.
On any day. You need to be a leader. You need to be in here before your staff. You need to show that commitment. They're loyal members that have been here for a long time. They don't hate you, they just want a commitment from you.
However, a deeply personal tragedy would ultimately serve as Michael's permanent turning point. On April of 2014, 3 years after the rescue aired, Mama Rose passed away. And in a surprising, bittersweet twist, his mother's passing seemed to have been the permanent wake-up call for Michael to get his act together in managing the restaurant. Because even after the restaurant cull of COVID-19, Leone's is still up and running today. And based on reviews, quite successfully at that, customers who have recently visited continue to leave praises, with one writing, "I ate that twice last year, during the summer and winter. Both times, the food was delicious. It was packed both times, with a slight wait time to be seated. I'd go back again when possible. Michael was there both times." While Leone's proved its success by being one of the few Kitchen Nightmares restaurants that still remain open to date, Mike from Mike and Nellie's proved that a restaurant isn't the only place where a chef could succeed. Mike and Nellie's, featured on the 3rd episode of the season, was easily one of the filthiest in the show, looking like it had been abandoned for decades, and having a stench so strong that Gordon Ramsay literally had to address the smell with one of the staff.
Oh, smell.
Hello.
Did you smell that, or was it just me? You smell something, right?
Yes.
Honestly, it's like that we've buried, like, bodies underneath the carpet.
Yes, it's most definitely the carpet.
It stinks.
The restaurant is filthy, disgusting. It's full of mold. It's worse over there.
Despite having a filthy place, the chef Mike confidently rated his food as near perfect.
I would rate my food in the upper 9s.
Wow, great, I love that. I can't wait to taste it.
But of course, Gordon's palate, and even the servers, thought otherwise.
Wow.
I was afraid to serve him the chicken Murphy.
Doesn't look very nice, does it?
It's embarrassing. It looks like a stew gone bad.
That's gross. It's overcooked. Just wet, soggy, and just tasteless.
I call it a hot mess. Look, guys. Oh, God.
Wow, that just tastes of burnt charcoal. I feel like I got a barbecue.
To make it worse, Mike also drank on the job. Though after learning that Mike's problems are all rooted from him grieving the death of his father Nellie, who the restaurant was also named after, Gordon was all in to help, violently ripping out the mold-infested carpet himself before transforming the bug-infested dining room into the modern Mike and Nellie Steakhouse.
There we are.
Oh, my God.
Mike and Nellie's Steakhouse.
Oh, my God, it's so nice.
Look at that.
It is gorgeous.
There's the chills everywhere.
Wow. No carpet.
No way.
And surely, Gordon's changes were for the better. Reviews after filming flooded in with high ratings, with one customer saying, "We decided we needed to try it after seeing them on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. Either Chef Ramsay is truly a miracle worker, or you can chalk it up to the magic of TV editing, because this place is the real deal." But unfortunately, Mike's financial problems simply persisted. So just 3 months after the episode aired in October 2011, Mike and Nellie's Steakhouse permanently closed its doors. But for Mike, this wasn't exactly a grim him ending. Throughout the 2010s, he became a sought-after private chef, and during the pandemic, he launched Blue Basil Catering Company, which brought the luxury of private jet dining straight to dinner tables of lockdown families on Monmouth County, New Jersey. The restaurant's location itself was replaced by an Italian restaurant, which leads us to Luigi's d'Italia, the restaurant whose owners had a who could scream louder contest half the time.
Let's say the way it is.
I am.
No, you're not. You're lying.
I'm not lying. You guys are lying.
I think she fucked you. You think so? She did. Okay.
She did say fuck
then
you.
You fucking wrong. That's all. We are losing the business.
This Italian restaurant was opened by Luigi and his father Dominic back in 1981, and its first few years were incredibly successful. But the moment Dominic retired and was replaced by Tony, his other son, the restaurant also started falling apart. On top of Luigi having too much pride in his 30-year-old recipes that looked so unappetizing,
it used to be. With all the fighting going on, the standards and the quality, everything, it tanked.
And that's special. Holy crap.
It's just dreadful.
It's all right. I'm still hungry anyway. I can eat that. I absolutely think he's wrong about the mahi-mahi. And I thought it was perfectly fine. It was just the way it's supposed to be.
Tony, his younger brother, couldn't care less about the business, literally ignoring customers to watch TV.
Here, and Linda's here. They have no understanding that number one is the customer. No sitting around. No, we're looking at the TV.
Watching TV when customers come? Is that true?
Not to mention, Luigi's wife, Grace, made it a habit to scream her lungs out whenever she was in the middle of a discussion.
The way we run it is on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I run the place, and then on Thursday nights through Sunday nights, they run the place.
Wow, it's crazy.
Or when confronted about her behavior.
There's a lot of things that are not said. I know you get offended, but that's okay.
That's not true. Linda, well, look what she said.
Has anyone sat down and spoken to her?
But as Gordon personally trained the family and new dishes were made for the restaurant, the relaunch was a huge success, and the restaurant actually managed to maintain its fame for years thereafter. Yelp reviews after filming had wrapped up had consistent 4 to 5 stars, with many praising the place, writing, "Didn't know this place was featured on Kitchen Nightmares until we walked in and saw Gordon's face plastered all over the joint. We went in around noon and they had just opened, so it was pretty much just us. Within a few minutes, a lot of people started to trickle in. Must be a popular spot for locals. My dad loves this place, so we'll definitely be back. The portions are huge, so if you're starving, this is a good place to go." However, in 2017, the family downsized and relocated Luigi's from Anaheim to Fullerton. But interestingly though, the family decided to completely strip Kitchen Nightmares from their identity. As a local news report at the time of relocation stated, unlike the old menu at the original restaurant, the new menu makes no mention of their 15 minutes of fame and ridicule on the show. The new location has an astonishing 4.4-star rating on Yelp, and despite it not being the actual filmed restaurant in the show, Kitchen Nightmares fans still flock to Luigi's. Surprisingly, most diners report that the infamously high-strung Grace is actually incredibly sweet in person, with one customer writing, "Yeah, Grace was super sweet and generous." Regardless, this doesn't erase the fact that Luigi's problems still rooted from its family dynamic, exactly like how it was at Burger Kitchen in Los Angeles, California. Alan Saffron's reasoning for opening this restaurant was quite niche.
Cheeseburger is. I have really eaten meat all my life. I've eaten in hundreds of different steak restaurants, and then I figured I'll try and get into it.
But since he didn't have enough money, he had this genius idea of pulling money from his son Daniel's trust fund, making him a co-owner by default.
I got a sizable inheritance from my grandfather. There was money in a trust account, and my dad took $250,000 of my money to put it into this restaurant.
I told him after the fact.
What?
I kind of forced him into it by taking his money.
Unfortunately for Daniel, it hadn't even reached its second year when they needed to call Gordon just to show just how much in shambles the restaurant was. But this wasn't too surprising, considering their award-winning burgers were severely undercooked.
Natural with white cheddar.
Oh, this is award-winning. Wow. That's raw. Wow. That's the award-winning burger. Shocking.
And the Australian meat pie was a complete disaster.
Australian meat pie, the beef.
What a mess. I mean, that's disgusting. That Australian pie can fuck off back to Australia. One word for this. Meow. Cat food. Disgusting.
Yet, for some odd reason, Alan had this grand conspiracy theory that Yelp reviewers were out to destroy his business.
Is there a plot against you from Yelp to close this business?
No question in my mind.
Oh, Alan, come on. You've been watching too many fucking Bond.
Yelp has killed us. Yelp has trashed us terribly. they're also deleting 5-star reviews.
Oh, come on.
I can prove it. I can show you right
now. The restaurant genuinely seemed like it could turn around after Kitchen Nightmares gave it a more promising menu.
Those are freaking bomb. Those are bomb.
Out of control good.
Wow. You'd be stupid to think it's not good. It's fabulous.
But by August 2011, just months after the episodes were filmed and before the episode even aired, ownership and management of Burger Kitchen reportedly changed hands. Reviews following the episode airing were a mixed bag between praises, saying, "Based on how my experience went, I think Gordon Ramsay did a good job here," and pure disappointment from customers who wrote, "Food took over 15 minutes to arrive. Service nor the atmosphere were warm or inviting. I guess they didn't follow Gordon's advice or recipe changes." So it's hard to get a clear picture of whether the new management kept the changes or whether they were actually doing a better job than the Saffrons. Though most likely the restaurant wasn't doing any better than it did before, as in February 2012, Burger Kitchen closed its doors for good with a grim 2.9 star rating just months after the episode aired. But it wasn't really the abrupt change of ownership or restaurant closure that had people talking. In the show, Alan shared how he once wrote a book about his abusive father.
You wrote a book?
Yeah, Gentle Satan. It was about my father.
Curious fans quickly connected the dots that the grandfather, who left a large inheritance, turned out to be a notoriously brutal Australian mob boss, Abe Saffron, better known as Mr. Sin. For several decades in the 20th century, this man has been widely rumored to be involved in alcohol sales, stolen goods, illegal gambling, prostitution, and many other criminal activities. But despite being aware that his father brought him up badly, fans noticed how Alan repeated the same exact pattern to his son, with one Reddit user saying he wrote an entire book about how bad his father was, but then steals from his son and tanks his credit at an early age. Though this cycle of toxic parent and child dynamics wasn't just limited to Burger Kitchen in season 5 of the show, because over at the Greek at the harbor, the conflict between Makis and his son Aris was so severe that Gordon had to handcuff them together just to make them reconcile. It started when, years back, during his graduation party, Aris made a statement that indirectly humiliated his parents.
Why have they been ignoring each other?
Well, when Aris went to college, he never really wanted to be here. When he graduated from college, we had his party here. But the place was full. We had 100 people here, so he announced, "I'm gonna make something of my life. I'm not working in the restaurant."
Was? In front of all the staff?
In front of all of his friends.
Ever since, his parents haven't been able to forgive him, even though at the time he worked incredibly hard, hitting the dance floor to entertain customers.
Unfucking believable. Now I get what he's passionate about.
Finally, something edible.
So on top of fixing the restaurant side of things, like making Makis understand that there was no way his self-rating of his cooking could be justified.
10, what would you give it?
My food, I give it 10.
10?
Yes.
If he was serving drinkable hummus and shockingly bad beef moussaka.
The eggplant is spongy and raw.
You having the moussaka?
Yeah, it's disgusting. Carrots and mush. That is an insult to any Greek aisle.
Gordon had to come up with the creative family-building exercise of handcuffing Makis and Aris together to force them to communicate and work as a team.
Watch, don't pull me too much now. Don't be a bull. Getting handcuffed was a funny experience.
I'm gonna need a plate to put it in.
All right, well, we'll have to walk with this time. This is exactly what I've been looking for, to have this opportunity. So let's do it.
Okay, slice of tomato.
Yeah, I can do it. How's that?
Pretty good, huh?
Very good. Tastes Greek.
Totally. It was a lot of fun for me and Aris to be that way.
And as the father-son duo made amends, relaunch night was packed with energy and people. However, this restaurant was unfortunately one of the rare occasions where Gordon may have changed the concept for the worse. Because after filming, many longtime regular patrons were disappointed with the changes, with one commenting, "The Greek is the restaurant that was our girls' treat to do at least twice a year. Tonight, we were told that Chef Gordon Ramsay paid them a visit, and now their menu has changed drastically. We left because the food we'd been looking forward to and starving ourselves for the day were no longer there. I give it a 2 rating, because the changes are, in my opinion, not for the better." In fact, the backlash was so severe that Lynn Michelatos admitted to local reporters that they actually received hate mail from furious locals over the menu changes. But unlike some owners in the show, the owners did not publicly blame the show or pursue lawsuits after the changes didn't bring the results they expected. Instead, they simply compromised to what locals wanted. According to a local news piece, after Ramsay's departure, they brought back some of the dishes was that longtime patrons requested specials, and if the dishes sold well, they went back on the regular menu. In 2016, the family officially changed their doing business A's name to the Greek Mediterranean Steak and Seafood, and it has maintained an above-average reputation since, with a 3.5-star rating on Yelp. Its official website proudly presents every member of the Michelatos family contributing in various ways to the success of the restaurant. And that's the type of pride Natalie Michon, who took over the restaurant literally named after her, could not match.
You'll see Nellie in the kitchen. You may see her in passing, or maybe if she's hungry.
Can you hand me a spoon, a fork or a spoon, please?
She'll come in and get her some breakfast, or just come in and rub her stomach.
That's good.
Natalie's father entrusted the restaurant to her after his health deteriorated, but all she could contribute upon taking over was her laziness, proudly claiming that she was more of HR.
And your main role in a day-to-day business?
The human resources, HR.
Wow.
So I do payroll and different things like that. So I hide in the back a lot.
You hide in the back?
I stay in the back. I do a lot of the paperwork.
And not seeing how adding rotten vegetables to a salad was unacceptable.
Gross. They're rotten tomatoes.
Oof.
I'm sorry, though, but the tomatoes, they got old and sort of yucky and soggy.
The tomatoes, one of them is old and the other one has like a ripe.
I don't think it's a problem, but really? But I'm not a chef, so I don't know. I think it's fine, but that's right. Your name is only on the building.
Though one thing Gordon could not wrap his head around in the restaurant was how it had top-of-the-line meat smokers.
Wow, look at them. I mean, do you know what hurts more than anything? The fact that we have the most amazing equipment.
Yet the staff would still blast frozen food into the microwave whenever someone ordered.
What's that noise?
The microwave.
Fucking hell, the microwave. What is that?
That's seafood dip.
That's how they do things. They're just throwing stuff in the microwave, and it's ridiculous.
Gordon understandably had quite a lot to say when he found the stockpile of pre-cooked chicken wings Michon's was hiding, but Natalie could barely care.
Wow.
Don't kid me.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God. Why do you have 100 smoked wings? Like, you can't be for real.
I am absolutely mortified. What in the hell? And we're carrying all this food until tomorrow, or the next day, or who knows? And we have a smoker in there full of fresh wings. I've never, ever seen anything like this. You've got your name in lights. This restaurant's named after you. Tell me, one-to-one, why you haven't stepped up.
Just because you don't, I'm not going to sit up here and holler and scream.
No one's asked you to holler. You have to get off your ass and do something about it. What are we going to look at? Your father? Get mum to step up? Honestly, hand the reins over and let's get somebody else in here if you are not going to step up to the plate.
After the restaurant was trained by a barbecue expert, though, this microwaving culture dissipated overnight. During relaunch, Natalie also took a more active role as an owner, entertaining guests as they waited for their food. And guests were pretty much blown away by the tender meat, showing the potential the restaurant could have had.
Customers with smiles on their face, we haven't had that in forever.
However, this boost of confidence may have made Natalie a little delusional about what the restaurant was capable of. After the show, Natalie launched a personal Wix website where she actively downplayed how nightmarish her screen time in the episode was, writing, "Michon's episode did not portray a nightmare as other episodes typically do. Its main focus was on the owners passing the torch of business to their daughter, Natalie Michon, and instead of gradually rebuilding the restaurant from everything Gordon Ramsay taught her, she decided to expand the business, which failed miserably in multiple occasions. For starters, she acquired a second location in downtown Atlanta, but just 2 weeks after its opening in March 2012, a massive electrical fire broke out, completely incinerating the building. By 2014, 3 years after the episode was filmed, the original location closed, and Natalie decided to rebrand the restaurant as Michon's Barbecue Bistro in downtown Atlanta. But this rebranded restaurant had an overwhelming amount of one-star reviews, eventually closing down the next year in 2015. However, even before that happened, during the summer of 2014, Natalie allegedly secured another soon-to-open branch in St. Louis, Missouri. In preparation, she hired about 30 workers and trained them for 2 weeks, only for them to never be paid because the restaurant never opened. Now, just like the microwave was the start of Michon's initial downfall, restaurant El Greco in Austin, Texas also had a similar problem, but perhaps even worse, as they even had a name for the microwave, Chef Mike.
We use Chef Mike a lot. Whenever there's lights on in this restaurant, Chef Mike's working. He's a dedicated employee.
This Greek Jake Restaurant was opened by a mother and son duo, Jake and Athena, in 2007. But while it initially thrived thanks to its location just blocks away from the University of Texas, by the time filming began, reality painted a completely different picture. Jake had completely detached from the restaurant, preferring to play video games instead of working.
How many hours a day is Jake here?
On an average day, I'd say about 3.
3 total hours in one day?
Yeah.
Is he in love? Has he got a girlfriend?
A video game. Yeah. He's not playing it right now, but I guarantee he's thinking about it. What a disaster.
But Athena was so fed up that the first time she talked to Gordon Ramsay, she delivered one of the most devastating lines in Kitchen Nightmares history.
I'd rather be dead or have a son like you now.
While the family dynamic was definitely a problem, the food had an entirely different issue that needed addressing, as every single dish came out almost monstrous.
Stuffed zucchini. Yeah. Look at that. It's like 2 grenades about to explode. Now it looks like something out of an alien movie. When zucchinis attack. Now there's a very anemic-looking lampshade. Look at the presentation. It's depressing. Almost like it's been in the microwave for an hour.
And just as Gordon expected, the real culprit was the so-called third secret chef in the kitchen, Chef Mike, the microwave, which Jake still so confidently defended.
Yeah, reheated. Microwave food.
It's not microwave food. I don't use the word microwave. I'm not cooking it in the microwave. I'm reheating it in the microwave. Big difference. There's a big difference.
When Gordon confronted them about the unacceptable microwaving, Jake completely snapped.
Jake. I gotta, look, Jake. I'm trying to put out food. I'm not here to talk to you.
Take your head out your ass and just start acting like a man and start taking responsibility. So how about showing a little bit of respect for what you're doing?
Go. Off my line, let me do my job. Get out of here.
Jake, I'll go. With pleasure.
To no one's surprise, Gordon Ramsay later settled the score with Chef Mike.
It's time to say goodbye to a very busy Chef Mike.
Chef Mike.
Yes. Later, Chef Mike. Yeah! Adios, amigos.
And as the kitchen was taught how to dish out fresh and beautiful plates, relaunch night was absolutely packed. However, reviews after Gordon's massive changes show that the restaurant wasn't exactly able to keep up the quality it was set up to achieve. With people writing, "I was so excited to try this place out after hearing it was on Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay. I saw the bad reviews but figured the place had been cleaned up after. This was the worst food I think I've ever had. The only edible thing we ordered was the hummus, and you really cannot mess that up." Others even claimed that the post-show restaurant was worse than before, sharing, "I visited El Greco on Wednesday night and was quite disappointed. I'd been there before the Kitchen Nightmares TV shoot and the place was much better. Better menu options, cheaper prices, etc." And perhaps the lack of improvement was taking too much of a toll on sales that El Greco did not even survive long enough to watch its own national television debut on the show. It shut its doors by December 2011, less than 5 months after filming, as the owners couldn't pay the bills and the landlord shut the doors. El Greco closed its doors quietly with no dramatic updates or fallout following the owners in business. But that's a complete opposite of how the owners of Park's Edge handled their failing reputation by the time things escalated, even before Gordon Ramsay entered the door. When Richard and George were getting constant complaints from the neighbors about their lack of proper permits to operate their business,
then we didn't have a liquor license and a business license. And I'm not gonna lie, we were negligent.
Wow. I mean, that's quite major. No liquor license.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Really?
Their response was to claim in public that the entire community was racist.
And my response was they don't like us because we're a minority-owned restaurant in a white neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said the neighborhood was racist?
Yes, exactly.
Combine these reckless decisions with having an incompetent chef who literally grilled lettuce to make a grilled salad.
To me, Chef Ramsay's just another customer. I mean, as long as he likes my food, we're gonna get along just fine. I think he's gonna love this salad. It's a grilled lettuce. I mean, can't go wrong.
I'm shocked.
I've never thought about it, but it's true. Like, wait, why are we grilling lettuce?
This is a first for me. A grilled Caesar salad. No, but they actually grilled the lettuce.
and having a fridge so dirty, Gordon had to say,
"Bullshitting little fucker." No, you're the little fucker. I'm telling you, this was made today.
It was no wonder that the restaurant was empty more often than not. However, after Gordon demanded that the owners actually start listening and respecting their staff, and that they apologize to the local community whom they'd called racist on local TV.
There were some things that were said out of frustration that I sincerely want to apologize about, and we hope that we can gain the community's trust. And
the locals once again gave the restaurant another chance, filling the dining room where they finally got served good food. However, before the show's publicity could even save this restaurant, another wave of problems hit Park's Edge. Just 1 month after Gordon left the restaurant, in October 2011, local news stations reported that Inman Park Restaurant got a 44 out of 100 health score shortly after celebrity chef visits. But even though this type of issue alone was already damaging, it wasn't even the worst part for Park's Edge. According to a local resident of the Inman Park community, when the episode finally aired in early 2012, the neighborhood had watch parties when the episode aired to laugh at how ridiculous the restaurant was, because we'd all experienced it firsthand. Based on this, it seems a public apology for calling the community racist couldn't undo the damage. Park's Edge eventually closed in early 2014, a little over a year after the episode aired. While Park's Edge never really managed to build a lasting legacy, closing its doors just 5 years after it opened, Spit-A-Yarn Steakhouse already had decades of history when Saki bought it in 1995.
I took over in 1995. Was kind of dying at the time, and gradually I brought it back to life.
At first, he managed to revive what was already a failing restaurant, but then Jennifer happened. The woman who, shortly after working as a bartender at the steakhouse, got promoted to be his wife and blew $1 million renovating the restaurant.
Realizing I have expensive taste. As we remodeled, we took a risk, and the remodel was, $1 million.
Damn. How can you amass such a large amount?
So it wasn't until after I found out that the bar was $40,000.
Wow.
And the little glitter tiles in the women's bathroom, I picked those out, but I didn't know they were $100 each.
The thing was, the property wasn't even theirs.
Because we don't own that building, we don't own that property. Saki has a 10-year lease. We've got 10 years to make it or break it.
The irony of this episode, though, was how the restaurant had the most glamorous bathroom scene in the show.
Oh, wow. Bloody hell.
Yes.
Honestly. And it was still in here as well. This is very plush. Chandelier.
And then these little tiles here is $50 each.
Yet the food was so horrifyingly bad.
That is ghastly. Has that got mashed potatoes in there?
It is canned salmon caviar mixed with some mashed potatoes. Canned.
And the kitchen was basically a paradise for rotten food, mold, and cross-contamination, to the point even the owners were disgusted.
Cooked. Oh, God. What's that? Chicken or turkey? Whatever it is, it's pink and lethal. Cooked raw chicken.
Why didn't you check this, dude?
Hold on.
I thought you cleaned the refrigerator.
What in the fuck is that?
It looks like the padding for my bra.
No, that's chicken.
I'm gonna throw up.
Congealed blood here. Yeah. All in there. Jen! Jen! Look at that. I mean, honestly. Jen! Where's Jen?
With all these problems, the once glamorous couple began going days without even speaking to each other.
What are you getting so pissed off for? Funny for
Ooh, dude!
My parents will go days without talking. It's always a fight.
But luckily, they'd managed to work together for a successful relaunch night. Food reviews after the show improved, but perhaps the spotlight may have caused another problem for the restaurant, as some not-so-positive traits of Saki resurfaced. One patron shared, "I got to interact with Saki close up, unfortunately. The man was a serious tool to the point where I had to threaten to call the Fremont police to force him to comply with allowing my service dog in the restaurant." Another customer shared a more disturbing experience, writing, "My family and I went here for dinner, and it was a disastrous experience. The seafood was old, prime rib was bland and overcooked, and then the owner came out and verbally berated and shouted at us for sending back a prime rib for being overcooked." Surprisingly, though, the restaurant remains open to this date, leaving many absolutely baffled at how it even survived. Though the one thing that didn't survive was Saki and Jennifer's marriage. Spit-A-Yarn Steakhouse remains standing to date, most likely made possible by Saki drinking draining through his money, but at the very least, he launched and maintained the restaurant with his own money, unlike Tatiana, who bought Charlie's Italian restaurant by convincing her mother and sister to drain their savings and put their homes on the line as collateral.
We took over.
Mom put all her retirement money into it.
Really?
I put collateral, the house.
And her house. My condo, yeah.
So if the restaurant goes, your houses go.
Tatiana herself put out only $1,000.
And how much money did you put in?
Probably like $1,000.
Yet on top of not treating her mom and sisters, whom she dragged into the business, as equals,
But what it comes down to is that she does not treat us as equals. Don't even start. You talk down to me, you bulldoze me, you do not treat me like an equal. You don't treat me like 1/3 of this restaurant.
she's completely oblivious on how to run the restaurant, even working while drinking. And perhaps the most infuriating trait of all was keeping Casimiro as head chef, even when the servers themselves knew he had zero skills.
Casimiro is our head chef. He's been here for 14 years, and he's pretty awful.
This so-called chef couldn't even operate a microwave, serving Gordon Ramsay a half-frozen meal.
What the hell is that? What is that?
lasagna.
That's the lasagna?
The lasagna is vile. It's embarrassing to serve that to Chef Ramsay.
The sauce tastes bizarre. And the mouthful I had was stone cold. It's hot one side, cold the other. Is that microwaved?
It might be.
Don't answer a question you don't know.
Oh.
And he did not see a problem with pre-cooking so much food that most of it went to the trash every single day.
What's he doing with all this stuff?
Tengo que preparar en las mañanas para volumen de gente.
So what happens when he doesn't sell this? Where does it go?
Throw it away.
He throws it away. Paddy and Val, this is your house, this is you. This is your life right here in the trash. Tatiana, what I'm more concerned about is the fact that you're oblivious. You're like an airhead that's got a head in the clouds.
During regular service, Casimiro showed the exact extent of his laziness, as he worked at a pace so slow that diabetic customers were pretty much risking their health waiting for the food.
You all right, darling?
Yeah, he just says he wants to work slowly.
He wants to work slowly. Why?
I think
you
he
ask him
just
why?
wants to focus on one ticket at a time.
I don't think customers want to hear the chef say I want to work slowly.
I try to say something to Casimiro about ticket times. He will just ignore me. Casimiro? Okay.
I'm diabetic and I can't wait any longer. Okay, I'm sorry.
Despite working one ticket at a time, Casimiro still managed to burn the meatballs he was literally just taught how to make. And at that point, Gordon could no longer just sit back.
What the fuck have you done? Stop. No, listen. What are you doing?
Estoy trabajando acá, no puedo estar.
Oh, come on.
Fácil.
I showed him how to cook one off. My back's turned to 2 minutes, and that's what I've got. Burnt shit.
Though Casimiro's attitude just got worse from here.
My God, it hurts.
Okay, you cook it.
And look at that for a stinking attitude. Look at that. If this house was on the line, he wouldn't be cooking like a fucking idiot. Now he thinks it's funny. You think it's funny?
He doesn't want to cook.
He doesn't want to cook. Get your head out of your ass.
After being confronted by Gordon about how badly she was managing her business, Tatiana eventually decided to fire her friend of 10 years.
Yo pienso que los dos necesitan ir. Me duele mucho. Lo siento mucho, Casimiro.
And after hiring and training a new chef, relaunch night was a huge turnaround for the restaurant. In fact, the restaurant was flooded with high-star reviews on their official Yelp page. However, due to undisclosed reasons, Charlie's Italian restaurant officially closed in July 2012, just 5 months after its episode aired. There's no news on what happened with her mom and sister's house, but there were talks online that they were still working as teachers. Tatiana herself made a bold switch from the restaurant business to becoming an actress and playwright, even securing an official IMDb page as actress Tatiana Leva. But ironically, by 2020, she was right back where she started. According to one user who wrote, "Back in 2020, I was passing through Leone and Tatiana was a bartender at a restaurant in the same plaza as Charlie's used to be. She was still rude, so I don't think much has changed." Tatiana still has quite a negative reputation in the fandom today, with one fan describing her as naive, stuck up, and irresponsible with other people's money. But speaking of restaurant owners who develop bad reputations, we cannot skip mentioning the owner of Cafe Hun, Denise, who literally received death threats after she trademarked the beloved Baltimore term of endearment. This move turned Cafe Hun from a neighborhood staple to the boycott target of most Baltimore residents, making sales plummet by as much as 25%.
This thing gets spun in this crazy way. They lodge a boycott on the restaurant. I mean, now I'm the villain. I'm the bad person.
After all, she didn't just trademark it on paper. She literally took action over the word, including cease and desist letters to local businesses.
Anybody who would like to use the word is at risk of receiving a cease and desist order from her lawyers that says change your name or else.
And even forced the government to bend to her will using this trademark.
She had gone to the Maryland Transit Administration for their Hun ad campaign and forced them to give her creative control. Basically, the Maryland state government has to go to Denise Whiting for her approval.
But this wasn't the only reason this restaurant approached kitchen nightmares to survive. On top of Denise being so rude that her manager literally just said,
"Denise, you're a rude bitch."
Denise had this incredibly odd and unprofitable tactic of removing an item from the menu for the entire night if the customer made a complaint.
What is that?
Turkey with stuffing. They did not like this. I'm getting something else.
86 the turkey. Any turkey on the board, 86 the turkey.
And with the restaurant food looking like this half the time, this pretty much meant that she was losing hundreds of dollars every single night.
That was a disaster. Do you know we comped $800 worth of food?
But as Gordon revamped the interior and menu, as well as forced Denise to officially surrender and apologize for her trademark on the word Hun, the community boycott was finally lifted. And from there, the business slowly thrived once again, with high-star reviews praising the stylish interior and food, gradually burying the mountain of one-star reviews Cafe Hun had accumulated prior to filming. The restaurant continued operating without changing hands well past the COVID-19 pandemic. At exactly 30 years after it opened in April 2022, Cafe Hun permanently closed its doors. This wasn't due to the usual drama or mounting issues we typically hear from Kitchen Nightmares restaurants that close down, but rather a graceful exit, with one user writing, "To be fair, the Kitchen Nightmares episode was almost a decade ago, and Cafe Hun is closing because the owner's moving on in life, not because of business." Locals now remember Denise as a smart woman, community leader whose presence on the Avenue and the Hamden section of town was pivotal to the rebirth of the neighborhood, the complete opposite of the vibe fans initially got during the episode. While Denise decided to close down her business 30 years after it opened, over at Chiarella's, owners Tommy and Dina were desperately trying to save the restaurant, which itself was operating for over 30 years. Back when Chiarella's was still located in Wildwood, it ran packed to the brim for 36 years. But as the couple, Tommy and Dina, decided to reopen the then closed restaurant in Philadelphia, the success vanished completely. To cope, Tommy shut himself up most of the time in his office, which turned out to have been converted into half gym, half informal rage room.
What's that? You're kidding me. What the hell? What the hell is this? Oh my god! What is this, the gym? Oh shit! This is incredible. It's like the surface of the moon. Tommy?
And his wife Dina wasn't much better, being in complete denial about her food quality.
I have really good food. Chef Ramsay might not agree with that.
I think it was all right.
But it still comes back to, I have really good food.
Even when this was literally how Gordon reacted to her dish.
Wow. It's ghastly.
But after Gordon replaced this completely outdated menu, filled with incredibly odd dish names, with a more compact and modern Italian menu, relaunch night was bustling. And from there, the best case scenario happened for Chiarella's. Yelp reviews immediately after filming were mostly positive, with one writing, "We found the food and service to be outstanding. Great Italian cuisine, good atmosphere, and very, very reasonable prices. I highly recommend this restaurant." The restaurant was once again featured in Season 6's revisited episode, episode, and this time they were painted by Gordon in a very positive light.
That is delicious. Wow. I am so surprised. I mean, I had my doubts about Tommy, but he has really stepped up and taken the bull by the horns, and now is in control of his business. And I really believe that Chiarella is on its way to being back on top where it belongs.
But unfortunately, restaurants can do everything right and still not afford to stay open. In June of 2015, 4 years after the original filming, Chiarella's permanently locked its doors as their lease had expired and the landlord refused to renew it. Dita confirmed the eviction to Philly.com, explicitly stating, "We're not closing because we want to close." And just 20 minutes away from the now closed Chiarella's location, once laid Zocalo, which was also bought by a couple whose marriage started to fall apart while managing the restaurant. Unlike most restaurants seen on the show, Zocalo actually had quite a decent kitchen, with no mysterious meat fermenting or mushrooms growing in the walls. But this didn't mean the restaurant wasn't as problematic as every other restaurant on this list, despite barely contributing to the restaurant herself, except for overpricing the menu.
$23.50 for entree. I mean, that's not cheap.
Mary was constantly nagging Greg.
Really dry. That's serious. What you give to dry?
I do it exactly how she says every time I do it. So if it's not working, well, then you come back here and do it.
That's not good. What do you give it to him? But it's only chicken, enchiladas, mole, and pork. Come on. Oh, give me number 5. B5, please. The food is late.
Here, I'm working on them. I'm working on it.
Even when he was spending almost every waking hour to keep the restaurant running.
Wake up at 5:30 or so, drop my son off at school at 6:45. Stop at the produce market or, wherever I have to shop because I do most of the shopping for the restaurant. Carpets, I clean the bathrooms, I mop all the dining rooms, run down the office, check my emails, check the bills, whatever. Then I go into the kitchen, set up the line, start to prep for the day. Sometimes I have to run out, in between lunch.
Every day.
Every day.
That's a long day, Greg. It sounds ridiculous. When was your last day off?
I worked every day for over a year.
And just like how Gordon noticed how toxic Mary's nagging was,
it's a big difference between nagging and being supportive.
Some fans interpreted the episode not as a restaurant nightmare, but a wife nightmare, with people often referring back to her go-to annoying line, "Let me finish," as a meme.
Let me finish talking. I don't know
Mary,
the
you
prices,
can't
I don't know the cost.
You can't
Okay, let
chase
me finish.
revenue.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
I can't talk to you right now.
Let me finish.
Overworked and under constant stress, Greg's cooking also took a hit, with Gordon having some of the most amusing reactions to his Mexican cuisine.
Like something out of Harry Potter. I feel like I'm having a facial with steam. It's like eating the inside of a golf ball. Bitter. They cook cactus like that in Mexico.
No.
In Mexico, they shoot you for that.
To remedy all of this, Gordon encouraged Greg to welcome more help in the kitchen, and the menu was revamped to be more fitting of the Mexican restaurant Zocalo was supposed to be.
It was really good.
This is delicious.
Well worth the wait. Thank you.
Awesome.
Next table coming up, J9.
J9, okay.
Not a minute.
But unfortunately, the show couldn't do much for Zocalo. Reviews immediately after filming were still grim, with one writing, "Gordon Ramsay finished redoing the restaurant for Kitchen Nightmares earlier in the week, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to try some of his recipes and to see what he did to the place. The food was easily some of the absolute worst food we've had anywhere. The chicken was overcooked, tough, chewy, and rubbery, depending on which piece you happen to be able to cut off and taste." In late 2012, Zocalo closed its doors for the holidays, a move that some businesses occasionally do, but unfortunately, they never reopened as the new year rolled around. Most assume that the closure was due to financial hardship, as the restaurant owed almost $70,000 to the government in taxes, and Greg himself had about $39,000 in personal debt. The building was later occupied by Luigi, a highly rated hookah bar and restaurant, but even this business met a tragic fate, as not long after opening, the apartment upstairs caught fire, essentially destroying the entire building. And speaking of tragic fates, Mary and Greg reportedly divorced after the restaurant closed. Though most fans didn't exactly see this as a tragedy, with one person writing, "We're so happy for Greg that he divorced her. Mary was a miserable person." And in an interesting twist of fate, Greg ended up tying the knot with Maria, a former Zocalo waitress.